Welcome to the 7th grade Unit 3 instructional video. I'm Sharon Graves, Secondary ELAR Coordinator, and it's good to be with you again. Please note the Unit 3 Understanding Informational Text Blueprint, which is also on the CTL website. Unit 3 lasts 20 instructional days and will be assessed on December 12th before the last week of the first semester. Our learning targets for today are: I can use the standards to plan for instruction. I can use authentic current events to plan for student learning with expository text. And I can plan for evidences of learning that will allow students to analyze, make inferences, and draw conclusions about expository text and provide text evidence to support their understanding. The hotspots for Unit 3 are the Knowledge and Skills Statement 710 with Figure 19D and E, and TEKS 710A and 710D. Looking at 710 in the IFD, what are the most important ideas in this knowledge and skills statement? What information or broad concepts will the students need to know to master this standard? Are these ideas being introduced or developed? Where and in what context? And how are these ideas relevant to our students? Note the cognitive level, the content, and the context of each of the standards. To deeply understand your standards, ask yourself, what are the cognitive levels of the verbs, the content, the context, the vocabulary, other SCs connected to the readiness standards, additional resources or information students may need to master the SEs. What does learning look like? What are some ways to informally and formally assess student mastery? Once the standard has been deconstructed, establish learning targets for your students. Choose a high-interest current event expository text with varying reading levels for differentiation, with different organizational patterns and a rich text which will allow them to infer and draw conclusions. You should read and annotate the text prior to teaching the students. Create guiding questions and establish a purpose for their reading. Students should analyze, make inferences, and draw conclusions, Figure 19, about expository text in order to understand the big ideas, supporting details and the text structure and how ideas are connected. They should probe each idea in the text, effectively summarize, use text features and structures to understand and analyze the text, and generate their own and answer text-dependent questions and provide evidence from the text. When planning, questions that you should ask yourself are: does the article I've chosen have various structures? Can I create text-dependent questions using the article that align with the standards? What will the students provide as evidences of their learning? What strategies will I model for students to emulate? Can the students draw a conclusion based on the text? The feature article is from the News ELA website, featuring current expository articles across multiple content areas and at varying reading and vocabulary levels, so that students can virtually have the same article but for their differentiated needs. How will I know that students have learned? With the standard in mind, what different types of evidences of learning can the students provide to demonstrate their deep understanding of expository text? These are but examples of evidences for expository text. In a moment, we will review the Socratic seminar or fishbowl discussion. The text should be read at least 3 times for a deep understanding. Before the first reading, you should frame the lesson by drawing upon background knowledge, instill curiosity to hook students, establish purposes for reading through essential questions, teach students to set their own purposes for reading by turning the title into a question and always looking for text structure, build their vocabulary background, and ensure that students have a pen or pencil in their hand to always annotate and record their thoughts. During reading, students should stay focused on their purposes. leave tracks of their thinking on the passage or sticky notes, and relate their existing knowledge to new concepts from the passage. After reading, students should reflect and summarize the main points of the passage. Analyze and extend the text by making connections with broader perspectives and concepts. Discuss their thoughts with a partner and write additional insights that they've gained. Then reread with new questions and purposes to create deeper level of thinking. Notice the reading strategies that are aligned with expository SEs. Now let's review a strategy. The purpose of the fishbowl or Socratic discussion is to promote sharing ideas and listening to others' views. It also encourages critical thinking, and students take ownership through the gradual release model. They have small group discussion, they model agreement and disagreement of their ideas, and observers record the main points of the discussion and share their responses afterwards. The directions for the fishbowl or Socratic discussion are to read and annotate the text, and then students should respond to a variety of questions. Here are some examples that you could use. What is your reaction or opinion to an issue? What strikes you about this reading? What surprises you? What new information did you learn? What challenges something that you thought you already knew? What puzzles you? What questions about this reading would you like to ask the writer? And what is the text not telling you? As the teacher, you should select 4 to 6 students to sit in the middle of the room and participate in the discussion. The remainder of the class makes an outside circle or semicircle and around the discussion group. At first, you may be the leader to facilitate the discussion, but eventually you want to choose a student to be the group leader. Establish norms for discussing and listening. Observers should record comments to share during debrief about the conversation. You want to change groups after a set amount of, say, 10 to 12 minutes. All participants should share their thoughts, and it will culminate into a writing activity to reflect on learning and make connections and transfer. This is an excerpt of a class introduction for their first Socratic seminar. Although these students are sitting on the floor, you may have students stay in their desk, whatever is comfortable and best for you and your class.
You'll probably never hear in school again from this point is that you don't want to raise your hand. You want to conduct this like a conversation, that you want to learn more about the topic, right? You want to spark thoughts. You want it to invoke fear in your classmates so no one wants to talk. So you keep your hands down, throw your thing in, have a conversation, and hopefully we'll come up with some new ideas. So don't worry about it. But your questions, David, you don't have to go in any particular order. You can pick your favorite one.
Wait, can I request something, David? For the one about,
for a rebuttal, do we have to
if you're fault non-different back.
You do. Yep, every time you speak.
Then once Susan, when you speak twice, then you go out.
And then at the end, everyone will speak. And so you can talk after that, like it's more of an open conversation. But don't forget, at first, the outer circle can't say a word. It's hard. You guys, you're taking notes, you're observing, and you're writing comments down as the outer circle. In 10 minutes, 12 minutes actually, we're going to switch, outer circle becomes inner.
Alicia had a question that, for the next round, the questions will restart. We can ask the same questions.
For the next round, they don't restart. At the end, you can address all of them. All right? Okay, so let's start, David.
Okay, welcome to the first round of the Socratic seminar. Thanks. All right, first question.
Students can use a preset template to guide their thinking and writing depending on your purpose and strategies. Keep them simple so that students are free to think and respond to the text and their classmates' thoughts and discussions. To make authentic writing connections, after reading, writing, and discussing, students can take a position and write a persuasive essay concerning their topic. They can research the topic further and write their own expository paper with new information. Writing takes thinking to a deeper level. It enhances students' ability to think, make connections, and achieve clarity, logic, and precision. More specifics regarding procedures and roles for Socratic seminars are on the curriculum framework found on the CTO website, as well as multiple close reading and writing protocols and strategies. Click on the links to find your resources. Thank you for giving of your time to participate in the expository video and your diligence in ensuring that your students learn. Please feel free to contact me anytime that you have questions or need additional support. Thank you.